to kick off this conversation, I will ask Kristi to please introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about your background. You're most probably in tech. What made you choose this field, and what do you do? What are you doing today?
Thank you. Nice to be here. So I was born and raised in Albania. In 2014, I moved to the US for grad school to study computer science. And that's what sort of led me to tech. I'm still in the US now. Currently, I'm based in Washington, DC. I'm a senior software engineer at the MOC Alliance, which is a collaboration between the major universities in the Boston area and medical research centers and industry and government. And the goal of this collaboration is to create an open production cloud to provide low-cost computing resources for researchers and enable collaboration between these researchers and the upstream open source communities, in particular to enable further innovation. So I was drawn into computer science and tech from an early age. Originally, I didn't want to study computer science. Uh, I really wanted to do architecture, but I was terrible at drawing. And my parents pulled me aside when I was about 16 years old, and they said, "Hey, we noticed you are playing around with this thing called Linux. We noticed you are opening computers physically and putting more RAM and changing hard drives and doing things like that. And you suck at drawing. So how about studying
In the most
computer
loving of
science?"
ways, I'm sure.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I think I would actually enjoy that. So I did a bachelor in computer science, and then I moved to the US to do grad school in computer science. I didn't really know that I wanted to do open source. That sort of happened along the way. Since I was passionate about architecture and creative things, I wanted to do video game development. So I took quite a few computer graphics classes. And for the first time, BU, which is where I did grad school, was offering a cloud computing course. So this was being taught by Professor Oran Krieger, Peter Desnoyers, and Ataturk. And the class was entirely project-based. And it was super interesting to see all of the innovation that was happening around cloud computing at the time. This was 2015, so probably at high levels of hype with regards to that, and OpenStack was just starting to get a lot of attention and investment. So starting to work with these open source tools that were super interesting and a lot of investment and hype, and they were in the news all the time. So it was really exciting, and that sort of led me to like collaborate more closely with those professors. And then out of that class, I got hired to work on OpenStack and like work on developing this cloud computing platform, and that BU was heavily involved in offering at the time.
And BU is Boston University, right?
Yes, Boston University.
It is so funny how you're talking about your background. We've been know each other with Kristi for a little while, but I did not know any of this. And the funny part is that I also wanted to be an architect, and I did. I also remember being hired by some of the faculty members at my university to their spin-off company, although I was working on EU projects, European Union research projects, as opposed to open source at that time. So in terms of your journey, you technically got introduced to open source while you were still doing your studies at university, right?
That's correct, yes. The project so as I said, the class was project-based. So in that class, I was part of a project that was enhancing an open source radiology software that Boston Children's Hospital used. So making it run instead of like using batch processing for its scripts and processing its data instead using OpenStack. So I was integrating with the OpenStack API and spinning up new virtual machines. And that's really the first thing that I worked that was open source, was making pull requests to this software that Boston Children's Hospital was working on, and that just felt so cool, you know?
Do you think that it was more the technology side of, OpenStack and cloud and the innovation in that area that just drew you towards it, or do you think that the open source nature and just being able to participate in that project regardless of who you work for, where you are, that was also part of you ending up on the career journey that you're on currently?
Think it's both, but I think the open source aspect is probably the major part, because like I didn't have to be a student of that class to contribute to that software, because it was publicly available on GitHub, and it just felt like it was knowledge and information and opportunities that were easily accessible and available for everyone in the world, wherever they are from. And this resonated with me being from Albania, which is a post-communist country. So growing up, I didn't exactly have a credit card to swipe to buy software or to buy books or to purchase opportunities for knowledge. And it was either the pirate life or open source for that.
Mm.
And just seeing all of the things that were easily available and being disseminated for no for nothing, just for everyone there to access. And those opportunities, just, it's amazing.